República Dominicana, Quisqueya la Bella son un libro para vivir. Estímate, Campamento Los Detectives y 2AM Crew. El premio Latin Podcast República Dominicana va para The 2AM Crew.
Gracias a los Latin Podcast Awards por el premio Best Podcast Dominicano. Este premio para mí es algo que yo siempre he querido, siendo de la República Dominicana. Lo aprecio mucho. Gracias a los seguidores del show. I want to say thank you to the Latin Podcast Awards for this prestigious award. I truly do appreciate it. I truly appreciate it. Thank you to the listeners. Thank you to the Academy.
You feel that now?
Welcome to the 2AM Crew. I am one of your hosts, Rick Hierro.
And I'm Jason Enrique. Yes, indeed.
So I want to start off by saying this show was submitted for the Lion Podcast Awards. I'm going to say February. And at that time, what I submitted was the old cover, which obviously Jason's not on. And they used a really old thank you speech from a year or two ago. But I said my piece on the live portion of the show. So I only thought it was fair if I have my co-host Jason give his thank yous live on the episode. So Jason, take it away.
Yes. Well, first and foremost, this is such an honor, and I'm very humbled. When I started podcasting 4 years ago, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just learning on the go, just like everybody else. I'm still not an expert to it by any stretch of the imagination, but I feel like I haven't been able to get to the place that where I'm at right now with some of the best people that you could ever want to work with. First and foremost, I want to thank my co-host Rick H of the Rick H Show and the 2AM Crew. It's an honor to be a co-host of yours, and I'm glad that you were able to see the potential in me. And also want to thank Marvin Perdomo, Bravery Studios, Joe Fucarino for helping me get a launch into podcasting officially. And most importantly, I want to thank the fans. I want to thank the first class, second place podcast fans for sticking with me from the very beginning and believing in me. And we're almost at 200 episodes. And all the hard work and all the dedication and all the fandom does not go in vain. I thank you so much. And thank you to the awards for giving us this honor as well. Thank you so much.
Myself, I feel like I got to chime in here now and get some instant reaction. So I've won it for the Rick H Show. I've won it 4 times, and this is actually I was very excited because this is a new project. This is a new show that we launched, and it's not my thing. It's our thing. It's me and Jason. So being this is your first one, Jason. How does it feel that you're knowing you're gonna have one of these mics in your house? I know it's gonna say Best Dominican Podcast, but you know, a win is a win.
A win is a win. Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm still learning the game. And being able to even get an award for all the hard work and effort that I've been able to put in my podcast career, and being able to surround myself with people that really have as much love and respect for me as much as I do for them. It's humbling and honoring, man. And I can't think of anybody else better to be in this position with, and just really humbled by it. I'm kind of at a loss for words, but I'm appreciative nonetheless.
So yeah,
and
pretty cool.
And in the words of Bad Bunny, I got 4 months to learn Spanish.
So, some exciting news about the actual. Hold on, I want to add a ticker here. So the 2026 Latin LPAs, Latin Podcast Awards LPAs, will be live from Miami next year. So if you're a podcaster and you would like to submit your work, you can send me a DM. I will help you through the process. I will guide you. It's great exposure for your show. I've met several podcasters from other cities, from other countries via the LPAs. A lot of people from the Dominican Republic, I'm part of a group on Instagram, have sent me congratulatory messages. It truly was humbling and an honor to win one. And I'm very excited about next year's award. So, Jason, congratulations on your first one, buddy.
Thank you, man. And congratulations on your fourth. It's well deserved, brother.
First one here, fourth one. So 5.
Mm.
And this is 4th in a row. 2021, I was nominated for 9, and I didn't win any. And I knew that I wanted to come back with a vengeance, and I think I put in some of my best work while I was doing. What year was that? 2021. Yeah, during COVID. So, yeah, that's that.
You're the Tom Brady of podcasting, man.
No. Far from it. I'm more of like the whatever AAA team has made the playoffs every year but never won a title. That's who I am. Just like I'm the Buffalo Bills of fantasy football. I've been to the championship game 5 times, never won it. I'm that. That's what I would equate it to. Brady's in another stratosphere.
Okay, well, soon to be.
My hope is that you become the Tom Brady of, So.
Well, if I'm the Brady, then you be my Belichick.
Hey, I wouldn't mind that comparison. That's fine. So, how have you been? How's everything?
Well, when you take my sports fandom out of it, I've been excellent.
Okay.
I recently got the chance to finally be a best man at my best friend's wedding. Shout out to Dre and Karen. Congratulations on your nuptials. And, working on some movie projects, starting, I can't really talk about it because it's signed an NDA, but I will be doing something on Friday. And other than that, life has been good. Monty's been good. And the only thing that's not good is my sports fandom. But between the Jets and the Yankees, I mean, we could definitely start there or, talk later. But, it's not looking good, unlike your New York Giants, who actually have a glimmer of hope.
I wouldn't say that. And I guess since we spoke Jets and Giants, let's lead with, what do you want to lead with? Positivity or negativity?
I want to lead with negativity so that we end things on a positive note.
Oh, okay, perfect. So what is going on with the New York Jets? 5-0.
6-0. 0-6.
0-6. I'm sorry. It would be great if they were 5-0.
Oh, yeah.
0-6. Last week you vented. I don't even know what to do with this. Like the floor is. I feel so terrible for Jets fans. I really do. I can only compare this feeling to the 2025 New York Mets, which my boy Mello will join us shortly when we get into the baseball portion of the show. How do you feel, man? Like, is it time to trade Garrett Wilson?
Well, I'm constantly doing this to check if I have a pulse because it seems like I'm dead inside when it comes to the New York Jets. Well, I mean, when you have a owner whose first name and last name is synonymous with the male appendage, Woody Johnson, it's no it's no secret that you're going to get screwed by the fan. The fans are going to get screwed by this organization. I mean, the fact of the matter is, it all starts with him. One thing that I preached last episode, and I've been preaching for the last couple of years now, is the New York Jets, or even just the New York team in general, I feel, I think that when you're in a market like this, you have to have somebody that has actually done it before, has been to the dance, has a resume, so on and so forth. It doesn't seem like New York teams do well with first-time head coaches, and the New York Jets have been able to trot out first-time head coaches for more than a decade now. You had Rex Ryan, who, okay, he did that. He did what he did. You had Todd Bowles, who ended up being a disaster with the Jets, but it looks like he has the best team in football right now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But that was really Bruce Arians as the architect. Then we had the Adam Gase, who's not a first.
Shout out to Baker Mayfield, though.
Yeah.
We'll get on. We'll get into Baker. Go ahead.
Right. Yeah. So and then there was the Adam Gase debacle, which we knew as soon as we found out that he was going to be hired. We knew it was going to be a failure. The only hope that we had was that Sam Darnold was going to overcome all of that, but that didn't happen. And then we hired Robert Saleh, yet another first-time defensive-minded head coach. It was too big for the moment. He didn't work out. And now we have the exact same thing with Aaron Glenn. Now, the only thing that Jet fans felt comfortable with was because he was a great Jet. He was a great player. Some people even say that he was the best cornerback that we had, not named Darrelle Revis. And in some cases, I agree. But one of the things that's frustrating about this regime, once again, and I'm going to speak on Aaron Glenn here, is that he was the one that was preaching, we're not going to be the same old Jets. We're going to cut down on the penalties. We're going to be disciplined. We're going to be this. We're going to be that, so on and so forth. And within the course of 6 games and seeing some of the worst coaching I've ever seen in any football, and last game was the clear example of one of the worst coached games I've ever seen in London, of all places, which we get embarrassed in front of everybody, not just in America, but in the world. And we have yet to win a game in London. No, scratch that. We did win in 2015 with Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker, but that was 10 years ago. And also, it must be a kick in the nuts to Woody Johnson because he was the ambassador to the UK during the Trump administration. And his team just looks like, right. So I just think that we can go in so many directions. I mean, it's a first-time head coach, and already it just seems like after just 6 games, this is probably worse than I've ever seen under Robert Saleh, under Adam Gase, under Todd Bowles. And I think the most frustrating part is you could change the coach all you want, but the same stuff keeps on happening. Dumb penalties, poor clock management, not ready to play football, this, that, and the third. It doesn't matter who we have as our head coach. It seems that these same problems keep on haunting us over and over and over again. And we have now made history in New York Jets history. Aaron Glenn is in New York Jets history as
the only head coach
to go 0-6. And before he actually had NFL history of all the football history of going 0-5 without having a single takeaway in any football game. So we're making history for all the wrong reasons. And then to make matters worse, he's going to be the guy that's going to bump his chest and, be all cocky and all this and that and not being able to back it up. You haven't won a single game as a head coach in the NFL. What makes you think that you're Bill Parcells all of a sudden?
Well, I got 2 things for you. I got some negative and some positive, right? First, not only did he make history, but your quarterback made history. He's the first quarterback to be 0-6 without an interception and still has not won a game. 9 sacks, that was terrible and horrendous. But Jimmy Johnson started awful. So did a lot of the head coaches. Did you bring this point up to me? Or did I see it somewhere? A lot of great head coaches have had terrible beginnings. So let's not kill Aaron Glenn now. I mean, it's part of the front office. When you get a rookie head coach, you got to get 2 seasoned coordinators with him. In baseball, you have a bench coach, which is something if you have a rookie manager, you want a veteran bench coach in there. So part of the blame, I still put it on Woody Johnson. Let's see. Another stat I want to give you, which you're going to get upset. Jets have a hell of a running back, and we brought up the carries 2 episodes ago, right? Yeah. I think there's been 93 games. The team that has the most rushing attempts, so let's say the Giants versus Chargers, whoever has the most rushing attempts has won the game 70% of the time. So in 93 games that we've seen so far in the NFL, 70 wins have happened. So that's just something, it was brought up today on I got to give my guy DiPietro and Rothenberg. I got to give Dave Rothenberg, because they had a whole argument online. Like, Rick was like, this is not a good stat to have. And I was like, actually, it is a good stat, because it proves that the running game is still something that you need in the NFL.
I did hear this. Yeah, I did hear it.
So I did not watch the London game, obviously. My week started a little earlier. It started on Thursday. It was pretty good. I'm still riding on that high. So that's all I got to offer for you. I have, let's not burn bridges now, but it is time to evaluate what we want to do. If you're 0-6 and I'm the Jets, I start looking at maybe moving Breece Hall, or maybe moving another valuable piece, loading up on picks. Because realistically, do you want to win? I mean, last year with the Giants, I didn't want them to win any game. I want them to get the highest pick possible. And this draft, we ended up with Abdul Carter, we ended up with Jackson Dart, and we ended up with Cam Scatterboo. And I think I'm going to bring in Melo a little early, because he's a Chiefs fan. And I just feel like that's the direction the Jets need to go in already in week 6 of the NFL season. I just want to bring in Melo real quick. My boy Melo, I know he's at press for time. Congratulations on the baby, Melo. Melo's son was born in August, so congrats to you, my brother.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats to all the Bills, I guess, right? That's the way it works now. So it is what it is. I wanted to touch on what you guys were saying about the Jets.
Melo, can we adjust the camera a little bit? I can't see your face. Move it. There we go. There he is.
So can we talk about the Jets real quick, because you guys were talking about the Jets and how they run, right? If you're a Jets fan, if you're a rational Jets fan, you guys came into the season with Justin Fields and Tyrod Taylor. An organization that's run well cannot go into a season with those two as their guys. And you guys gave Justin Fields 2 years to do what? To do what he's done right now? You guys had a chance to draft a quarterback. You guys didn't take one. You guys let the Giants get a quarterback. And guess what that quarterback is doing now for the Giants? I
wanted Jackson Dart.
Well, not only that, but they didn't get reinforcements for the offensive line. And although they re-signed Garrett Wilson, after Garrett Wilson, what else do you got? So you're not putting Fields.
We did get it online.
Listen to me, Rick. I'm not a Chiefs fan. You gotta remember, I'm not a Chiefs fan. I am a Patrick Mahomes fan. Patrick Mahomes could play for the the Panthers.
The Raiders.
For the Panthers. But here's what I'm telling you. I have not seen a quarterback come into the league in 2 games, and have the swagger that homeboy has that's playing for the Giants right now. That's a big thing. And I'm not trying to put him on that. I can't put him on that level, because he has won nothing yet. But I have not seen a quarterback where I'm like, you know what? Got to keep an eye on him since Patrick. And that is scary for the Jets fan, and also scary for the Giants fan, because if your high is that high, I think Philly's a fraud. They kind of proved it against the Giants. I don't think the Giants are that good. Your defense needs a lot of work.
It does. The secondary especially.
Right. So I'm not just about baseball. Listen, I was in Jacksonville the other day when I saw the Chiefs lose a heartbreaker to Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah,
Trevor Lawrence, the biggest fraud that the NFL has ever pumped. But it is what it is. What do you guys feel about that? Like I said,
Jamarcus Russell would like to call you. Jamarcus Russell. Well, I mean, that's he played 7 games and it was over.
Or Ryan Leaf.
But he was a fraud.
Right.
I 100% agree with your points on the Jets. Just to finish up on the Jets, it really comes down to the ownership. It really comes down to when you make a certain move, you have to make a secondary move to assure that move. So if you're going with, and by the way, Tyrod Taylor is the quarterback that'll help you win games. Yes, he's basically a backup, but
but at this point doesn't matter. At this point,
yeah, but you got to do something else. And it was a winnable game in London, and 0-6. You got to start thinking. Let's stockpile on picks. Do you trust this GM and this coach to which they have a history of not being able to? I'm talking about the Jets to properly draft a quarterback and develop him, which is there's two key factors. You have to draft a quarterback, but you also have to develop him the right way. Sam Darnold's looking pretty good out there in Seattle right now.
Yep.
I mean, so is fucking what's his name? Daniel Jones and with the Colts, like
in the Colts, yeah, and Baker Mayfield. So
a different system is what makes a quarterback, right? That's what it does. We've seen it happen. We've seen a different system come here and change the narrative, and we've seen quarterbacks leave us, and especially now. Daniel Jones is not a great quarterback, at least to me. I still haven't seen it with my own eyes. I'm watching the things. He's a good manager, but the rest of the team around him is good. That was the problem with the Giants.
Coaching. And Daniel Jones said it this week. Like, it's another level of preparation. When he was with Minnesota last year, he felt like this is another level of preparation on how you're supposed to prepare like a pro when he was in Minnesota. And he's saying it again now.
That's him shitting on the Giants' whole organization, which is crazy.
Yeah, but it is true. There is some truth to what he's saying. And I feel like you're the Jets. You went with Aaron Glenn. And I understand what you want someone that has, skin in the organization. He was a former Jet. But what you failed to do is you failed to get a really good offensive coordinator. And you failed to get a really good defensive coordinator. And also the weapons that he has Breece Hall and he has Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson's going to get covered like crazy. So you're going to need like a slot receiver, a little outlet pass for Fields to go to. Yes, Fields is to blame, but also the Jets are to blame because if this is the choice you're going to make, then you have to go all in and get the pieces like Belichick. What he did was they never had, besides Randy Moss, an outstanding wide receiver, and they played the play.
This season for the Jets, it's cooked. It's cooked.
Yeah. Well, listen. Here's the thing. Here's what I want to say.
Go ahead, Jason.
Here's what I want to say. I knew that the Jets were not going to be good this season. I actually expected them to go 5-13, 5-12, whatever. I didn't expect them to win any games. That's not the problem. The problem that I have is the way that they're losing games, the way that they're losing. Like, they do it in such embarrassing fashion. You have, poor clock management, dumb penalties. It's not the fact that they're losing. It's how they're losing that's bothering me the most because it looks no different than any other regime that has happened. And that also piggybacks into you going, answering your question is, no, I don't trust these guys to draft a quarterback and put the pieces around them because they can't even get out of their own way now. And that's my biggest problem. That's my biggest problem. That's my biggest problem right now is the fact that how
hold on 1 second. Finish the point.
You cannot lose a game 13-10. There's no way. As a professional franchise, you cannot lose that game 13-11 or whatever the score was. You cannot.
But that's why, and I know every single Jet fan and even some people in media have said this. At that point, why didn't you take out Justin Fields and put Tyrod Taylor in the game? Justin Fields was getting killed all day. He had negative 10 yards,
9 sacks.
9 sacks. You should have just made a quarterback change. And then to make matters worse, when you're Aaron Glenn and you're getting snippy with the media, asking if you should have done a quarterback change, like, come on, man, what kind of question is that? You're making yourself look like an asshole. And you haven't won a single game. So that's my biggest problem with the Jets right now. It's not that they're losing the games, because I knew that they weren't going to be good. It's how they're losing it. It's in the way that they embarrass themselves in classic fashion. That's what makes it worse. That's the real kick in the nuts with the Jets.
So just to, I don't want to continue to kill the Jets here.
They're already dead.
Question.
Yeah, I just so Mello brought up the Giants. I want to say relax and slow down to all Giants fans, right? He's got 3 games. under his belt. Dart. He's I think he's 2-1 as a quarterback. Because they beat the Chargers, they lost to
Saints.
New Orleans, which is a game that they were winning that they should have won. And they just beat Philadelphia. I want to tell them relax. The energy, absolutely, it's there. Not just from him, from Carter, and from Scadaboo. And I feel like Scadaboo is the engine that makes it run. I feel like the way he is inside the locker room makes the players want to go harder. But Dart has got swagger. He looks very comfortable in the pocket. He does. I'm not comparing him to Mahomes, but there's certain little plays that he's done where he's reading it correctly. Now, the fumble in New Orleans, he has to learn from that, where he tucked it and ran. But I like what we got, and I do believe he is the quarterback for us already in 3 games. But I want the fans to temper expectations because we still have to go through growing pains with him.
Let me put this in as an outsider, as somebody who doesn't root for the Giants, somebody who, just watches games. Jackson Dart, not for nothing. When I've seen him on the field, that aura that he carries, that's big in football.
Mm-hmm.
You know who's doing the same thing and now might be the MVP? Baker Mayfield. And he is 6 foot, running an offense in Tampa Bay that you cannot stop.
With a 4, 5, and 6 receiver on their depth chart.
Hold on. You still got to get the ball to them. You still got to have the.
No, I'm saying that's Baker. That's because of Baker. They're winning because of him.
But
what I'm saying is
they counted him out, right?
Yes, they did.
The Browns said we're good on you. They sounded Johnson, and that's an absolute shit show over there.
Oh my God!
And you guys have a guy who, just watching him the past couple of games, has that same aura. That's a big thing in the NFL. You either are the man or you're not. You either carry yourself that way or you don't.
Especially in New York.
Right. Right. I'm not saying he's going to be a Mahomes or a Mayfield. I'm saying he has a chance, just from what I'm seeing so far, that's like, you guys have hope, where the Jets, you guys are cooked. Like,
he's exciting to watch.
Right. I would say that.
I watch Mahomes game. I watch Chief games. I watch Bills games, and I watch Ravens games when Lamar's playing. There's certain players in the NFL that I like to tune in and watch, and I feel Dart is that guy. But I don't want to shortchange Scadaboo and Abdul Carter, who was the 3rd pick in the draft, just because the Giants' defense is not that great. But Brian Burns and Abdul Carter are playing out of their mind. And Kayvon, Sexy Dexy's always been there for us. Mm-hmm. But now we're adding to that line, which is reminiscent of 07 and 2011. But our problem is we need to call the Jets and say, hey, do you want to come off of Sauce Gardner or a team that has an elite cornerback or an elite safety, because our secondary needs a lot of help.
So Rick, as a Giants fan, I was at the Giants-Chiefs game, week 3, right? When the Chiefs were winless. Mm-hmm. What I saw that game was the Giants' defense is a problem, but their offense was a problem at that time too, because you guys still had Russell Wilson. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna lie. If Jackson Dart had started that game, they beat the Chiefs. And that's just how I saw it in person. I was literally front row. I was watching the whole game. I needed to do that for myself. And I just feel as if, I don't know if you guys know what you have, but he's a game changer in way more ways than you guys might understand. Because it's not only the ability on the field, it's that process of we're never out of it. And when Russell Wilson was throwing the rock around, I felt as if you guys had no chance.
Mm-hmm. Except if we played the Cowboys. But I agree with you, and I would compare Dart.
That was one of those games where, like, the exception the rule. Like, the Cowboys defense is terrible. That's why they lost again this week. Like, it's horrible.
So I would compare Dart to when OBJ showed up, because OBJ Odell Beckham Jr. had like a presence and an aura,
That
and
electricity, yeah.
yeah, and that's what we have basically. And finally, we have it in the quarterback position, which historically the Giants quarterbacks have never been mobile, can never stretch the field, and he does that now. So it was exciting to watch. It was great to get a win on the division rivals. And coming into this week,
But you guys didn't just win. You guys mopped the floor with the Eagles.
This was the Giants. Things have been. So
I get that, but the Eagles.
It wasn't Super Bowl because they still have a chance if they keep winning. They only have 4 losses. That's not the death nail for every team in the NFL.
I mean, if we would have won the New Orleans game, it would look a lot better. But we have a difficult schedule. We'll see how it is. But now at least I have something to watch. Last year, I felt like I was in the same situation as Jason, where I didn't even want to watch Giants games.
Yeah, I'm going to go apple picking for the rest of the season.
Or if I'm watching the NFL, I'm watching the game of the week. I'm watching the game of the week. I'm watching the Chiefs. I'm watching the Bills. I'm watching those players I want to see last season. And if I saw that the Giants won, I would actually be pissed off. Like, what are you guys doing? We need to get the number 1 pick in the draft. I'm very comfortable with Coach Dable because Coach Dable has a proven record on developing quarterbacks.
I told you.
But Joe Shane is an issue, but I'm going to give him a little pass because he did have a great draft this year. And let's just see where it goes. Now, in the radio, there was Giants fans saying, hey, let's give him an extension. Nah, I don't think so. Not just yet. You let Shane and Dabo play out this contract, and we'll see what happens, and we'll see how the season goes.
But, right. Because if things go great this season, you guys can get your pick of the litter as far as coaches are concerned.
Yeah. So I want to ask now. I want to move on from the Giants, which that was a good win. I want to ask you guys right now, who do you see in the AFC and who do you see in the NFC that so far they're positioning themselves to be that team?
Let's turn the floor over to Jason. Let's see what Jason.
You said the AFC and the NFC?
Yeah. So basically, who do you see in that Super Bowl type of?
Well, for me, even though they looked bad, Josh Allen looked bad last game. I still think the AFC belongs to the Bills currently. And as far as the NFC, it's tough because it's definitely not. It feels like Philly has a Super Bowl hangover right now, but they have some. But they still have a pretty solid offense and defensive line. It's just that Jalen Hurts, he's not anything that's cracked up to be. I guess it has to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now if the end of the season were to end.
Okay. Let me go right after Jason. So I'm gonna go Chiefs, simply from what I just saw this week, and the fact that they get Rice back.
Yeah.
And until Allen beats Mahomes, it is Pat's playhouse. So I'm gonna go Chiefs. NFC, I'm gonna say Eagles or Tampa, and I'm gonna slightly go to Tampa because the simple fact that Baker is playing with again their 4th, 5th, and 6th option in receiver. No Evans. No, they just lost possibly the rookie of the year, Ibeka, and they also lost Godwin. So next man up mentality in Tampa, and that team plays tough, and they play to win games basically, and they're feeding off of Baker Mayfield. So if it was to end today, that's what I would see. And also, the NFC does not look strong at all. It's basically a 2-horse race. The Bills have a problem on defense. That's why I wouldn't go with the Bills. I don't think Allen has played MVP type of football just yet.
Not yet.
And I think Pats hitting his stride and not starting off the way they normally start off, I feel like they got a chip on their shoulder right now, the Chiefs. So if you ask me today, I see the Chiefs winning again.
Oof. Okay.
So
music to my ears, huh, Rich? What did we say that's music to my ears? But I'm going to tell you, as a Chiefs fan, there's a few things that the Chiefs don't do well.
I thought you were a Mahomes fan, not a Chiefs fan.
Harrison Butker, yeah, of course, but that's the team I have to do. So Harrison Butker seems to have like lost his way with kicking, which is crazy because that could play a
that's a
pivotal
whole
role.
the league like this. I don't know.
Maybe his wife should be a kicker.
I don't know.
But also their special teams. They don't hold on to the ball well when it comes to special teams. Who holds with the Chiefs? I could see holding them back. Well, I say I want them back in the Super Bowl. I see them, of course. Like I think Patrick's the best quarterback we've ever seen.
We lost Melo there for a second. Yeah. It's unfortunate. Obviously, he was going to lean. It sounded like he has some questions about his Chiefs, which is very interesting. I would like for him to try to hop back on so we could get him to finish his point on that, and then we're going to move on to the Yankees. But what do you think has been the biggest surprise so far of the NFL season?
I would have to say the biggest surprise would have to be, I mean, it can't be Tampa Bay because we knew they were good. I just didn't know that they were going to be this good. I would have to say the Steelers. I mean, they're doing pretty good with Aaron Rodgers right now. They're 5-1. They seem like they're
that surprised you,
especially with going to staying at the top of the AFC North. Yeah, because I thought that Baltimore was going to be better. I thought that Cincinnati was going to be better with Joe Burrow, and we all know that the Browns are the Browns. Yeah.
Well, so Melo's back in. I want him to finish his point because he was it sounded like he was questioning his Chiefs for a second.
No, what I was saying was that the Chiefs have a few holes that I think other teams might not have right now. But that is changing now with us getting the receiver back, Rashid Rice coming off of the season. That I think is going to be dangerous. And you might see this weekend where everybody's going to be like, if the Chiefs blow out the Raiders this weekend, everyone's going to say, oh, the Chiefs are still the Chiefs. But the Chiefs never stopped being the Chiefs. They blew the game against Jacksonville. They've lost 3 one-possession games this year. Remember that those games went their favor last year. This year they haven't, but they're still the best team on the field right now. When you look at everything, when it's all said and done, of course, Tampa Baker's having a great season. Rodgers be having something crazy in Pittsburgh happening. But are you going to bet against Patty Mahomes and the Chiefs in the playoffs? I'm not putting my money against that. You'd be a fool to do.
Not yet. I mean, when it's time, when it's Patrick Mahomes times, which for me is the playoffs, he always proves that it's his game till somebody takes him out of it.
Right. By the way, Rick, I want to read.
I'm not putting Allen on that level just yet. He's not there.
Like I said, I do see it being another Bills, and we'll get to Jason. I do see the AFC Championship game being Buffalo and Kansas City, but that's where Allen, like, that's his cuco, that's his monster. Like, he has to get over that hump. I think he'll do it eventually someday. I don't know if it's this season. They have to play perfect against Kansas City, and the defense has to be good.
If you're good enough to make sense, right? If you shoot 10 shots, because I was at the AFC Championship game this year. I was in Kansas City when the Bills had the absolute chance to beat the Chiefs. All they needed was one first down, and they could not convert. It is what it is. You got to put up or shut up when it comes to the end of the day, and they haven't done it yet.
So go ahead, Jason. Sorry.
Actually, before Melo joined us back, you asked me which has been the biggest surprise to me. I want to reiterate that it's not the Steelers. It's actually been the Indianapolis Colts. I did not expect Daniel Jones to have the season that he's having, and before the
5-1.
Yeah, and before the season started, I actually had Shane Steichen as number 3 on the top 5 head coaches on the hot seat going on this season, and he looks like he's already solidified saving his job already. He's not going anywhere anytime soon.
I mean, okay, I'd say biggest surprise for me is actually Baker Mayfield and Tampa. I knew Tampa was good, but I didn't know. It's just the way they're winning these games. To me,
how did they did it last year, Rich? How could they?
Who's Rich?
They were putting up almost 40 points with here. Sorry,
no, Melo, I get it, but again, you gotta. When you think NFC, you think Tampa's in that upper echelon with the Lions, the Packers, the Eagles, the 49ers, the Niners who've bounced back.
We're talking about them having Mike Evans and Godwin, 2 of the best receivers in the game still right now. They have weapons. Like, name me a receiver on the Green Bay Packers.
That's
exactly. So what are you talking about? Well, you just like, Jordan Love, he's the quarterback. Like come on.
Yeah, but they Tampa again to be 5-1 and the way they win these games, they have shocked me. So, what's been your biggest surprise before we move on to the Yankees, Melo, of the NFL season so far?
It has to be Daniel Jones. I didn't think that a system could change a quarterback so much that he's managing the game where they are not close. Like none of these games have been close. They have been dominating teams to a 5-1 record. And if somehow he continues this, since when do we think that he could ever be on par to like an MVP caliber debate? Like everyone's saying, okay, is it Mahomes or is it Baker Mayfield? Those are names that you kind of can understand. But what about Danny Dimes over there with a 5-1 record, looking at the NFC? Like, what are you guys gonna do now? Like, that's.
I mean, Colts have dropped 33 points, 29, 41, 27, which they lost, 40 and 31. So they're putting up points and in abundance. So I mean, I wanted to bring Melo back because.
Even more Sanchez had a blast.
Obviously, baseball fans at heart. The baseball season is still going on. The Dodgers are currently leading. I got the game next to me, 3-1. Mets did not make the dance. Obviously,
you had to get Melo because you knew that was coming. So
wait. We've had several conversations throughout the season, me and Melo. Melo said the pitching, in the beginning, he warned me about the pitching doing us in. And I was very confident in Hafner and that pitching lab the Mets have and us figuring it out or whatever. And what actually eventually did the Mets in was the starting pitching. And in the last episode, I mentioned, you signed Frankie Montas, who isn't great at all, instead of bringing back Severino, which you should have brought Sevy instead of Montas. You're converting Clay Holmes to a starter now, so you should expect 4 to 5 innings, which already you're tapping into the bullpen, right? Senga's coming back from injury. Again, innings limit, so you should expect a limitation on the innings. And then, who else did the Mets have? Griffin Canning, when he went down, I felt like the rotation started to miss something because he was pitching great, and I felt like I cursed my own team because on June 12th, the Mets had a beautiful win. I think we were 17 games over 500, and we were running away with our own division. And I went on Instagram. And I'm going to say this again. I never went at Yankee fans or the Yankees organization. I went at Michael Kay. I went at, Uh, the fact that they
No,
said Anthony Volpe.
that's not true. Until the end of the season, where you cooked us when we got eliminated, you did do that. But it's
I
okay.
did it. I did it. No, 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 no.
You did do
Uh,
that.
I, I said I would hold my judgment to see how far they go. And actually, in the beginning of the season, I said the Yankees wouldn't make the World Series. Um, and I always was critical of Volpe. I was critical of Brian Cashman. I was critical of the non-factor besides Aaron Judge in the lineup. I did give Bellinger his props. I did give Chaz. I said it 2 years ago. I said Chaz Chisholm is a player that the Yankees needed because of what he brings to the team off the field and in the locker room. But
That's what you
A
said.
Rod and Jeter, A-Rod and Jeter said it best, and they got criticized for it. A-Rod talked about the roster construction, and Jeter talked about the lack of leadership. And he wasn't talking about Judge or anything like that. He was talking about the front office. So I'm going to give Melo his time because he wants to go in on me because my Mets did not make it, and
See,
rightfully so.
I'm not gonna go there. I can't go there because that's beating a dead horse. You can't win the race if you're never at the starting gate. You guys were not at the starting gate. It is what it is, unfortunately for you
Uh-huh.
guys. However,
So wait, let me ask you. So, do you feed into that theory of Michael Kay where he said, if Sydney Sweeney, if two guys ask her out and one gets rejected right away, the other goes on 3 dates and then she never calls you again and she goes, who's the winner in that?
well, if a girl never shows interest, then you are an absolute zero. So I mean, it is what it is. That's how it goes, buddy. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's like calling a donkey a fucking a unicorn. It's two different things.
Mhm.
But what I will say, only because I'm not going to be the dead horse and you guys didn't make the dance because you guys did not, and you know that already. I'm going to say that as a Yankee fan, what I've seen this year is the same thing that I've seen for the past 15 years since we won the World Series in 2009. There is a lack of emphasis for us on pitching. And in the playoffs, no matter how good your hitters are, they're going to get shut down by better pitching if somebody has better pitching than you do.
Mhm.
And unfortunately for us, you could say, who the fuck are these players in Toronto? Nobody knew their names, but they were throwing strikes. The reason why Cam Schlittler threw that immaculate game against the Red Sox and did well against the Blue Jays was because he was pounding the strike zone. That's exactly what you have to do in the playoffs. I'm gonna
The
throw it.
Yankees got one with him.
I'm gonna throw it. You
Because
hit it. That's the way it should be in the playoffs. And
mhm.
unfortunately for the Yankees, a lot of the players have come up zero when it comes to I'm gonna throw it. You hit it. Too many strikeouts. Too much not emphasis on playing little ball. Too much analytical things. Too much Aaron Boone is a puppet. It's just never going to work that way. It will never work. If Aaron Boone is the judge for the next, Aaron Boone is the manager for the next 10 years, the Yankees will win zero championships, and I can guarantee that. They're going to need a
So
change.
let me ask you something, and this goes into the next segment. So Michael Kay said the Yankees play the way the game is now. Feast or famine is the way baseball is played now. In the obviously it works in the regular season, but it's a smaller sample in the postseason, and that's how they're going to continue to operate. Where they're going for home runs, they're going for launch angles. He's like, no one plays small ball. That's what Michael Kay said on the radio, right? Do you agree or disagree with him?
Jason, what do you think about that?
Repeat that last part again, real quick.
Michael Kay said no professional MLB team plays small ball anymore. That's not the game anymore. He said the game is more long ball. It's home runs. It's analytics. It's launch angles. And he said Toronto just hit more home runs than we did.
I mean, yeah, he does. I mean, he does have a point. I do think that is pretty accurate, and it's just that it's all the real difference now is just the payroll. You know, the payroll. I mean, the Mets kind of defied that by having the biggest payroll, and they didn't even make the playoffs. But yeah, it's still all about the payroll, but yeah, all the other teams are doing it. I mean, Tampa Bay is highly analytical, and then you also got the Red Sox that are also highly analytical. You had Detroit, who I'm sorry, not Detroit, Milwaukee, who is, even though without David Stearns, they still haven't lost a beat, and they still do things the way that they've been doing for a while, and they seem to be still balling. So yeah, it's all about home runs now, but I always say that pitching is still king, and that's one of the things that the Yankees haven't been able to address properly without Garrett Cole.
They're wrong. Are you guys watching the playoffs right now? What's happening? In the playoffs?
Hold on, Melo. Hold on.
Banging homers.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Someone will start with a homer, but the next couple of things will be like a bases loaded walk or a bases loaded double or something where you're putting the ball in play. How did the fucking Dodgers win the last series? They put the ball in play, and somebody made a terrible mistake. You got to put the ball in play. You can't tell me that somebody needs to bang a homer for you to score, because at that point you're just hoping for a miracle. You got to put the ball in play. Like I don't believe in none of that shit that they're saying, because look how these teams are winning.
So, Melo, he hit it out the ballpark. What I wanted to say was, Michael K, you're half right, half wrong. Right? You're half right as the regular season, big sample size. You can have success and sustainability in the regular season. Postseason, a lot different. Every pitch,
I agree.
Every managerial decision, every like hit and run, everything is I want to say magnified to the nth degree. Now, I see teams during the regular season moving towards having a healthy balance of small ball and the long ball. So, like, the stolen bases is never been easier to steal bases now in baseball, and that's something that's coming into play. But you got to figure out OPS, right? You still got to get guys, on base, bat to ball. Well, Toronto, they didn't out homer you; they put the bat on the ball. That's what they did, basically. Exactly. Anthony Volpe, you should be living. Anthony Volpe specifically, you should be living at right field every time you get a chance. Opposite field. And guess what? The power is going to come if you focus the other way, or you look gap to gap. The Yankees, the problem with them, and they do have Cam Schlittler, which is one, and Judge, I'm going to say the other. The development of homegrown talent has not transitioned in the major league level, right? We don't know what Spencer Jones is going to be. I think George Lombard, if they keep protecting him and bring him along the way they are, he might be good in the bigs.
We had a flash in the pan with Gary Sanchez, and then much of those guys never really panned out. But
yeah, so
homegrown talent still.
But in that
Burrows when it comes to that stuff.
No, but what I'm saying in that era, right? They switched the philosophy in the minor league system from going from, the game itself, teaching hitting, bunting, stealing bases, to launch angles. They were teaching hitters launch angles and uppercut swings and what's the sweet spot, and they went into full analytics mode. Now, you said Boone, right? I've said this from the beginning, right? Now you have 16 years. Cashman has one championship under his name that he could fully say, I put this team together from top to bottom, right? Yes, he's made the playoffs. He's made the World Series a few times. 2001, 2003, 2009, and last year. So he's 1 for 4. And if you want to give him the Mets, he would be 2 for 5 in 2000. But again, now that you've had a large sample size, do you want to be the team that makes the dance every year? Or do you want to be the Yankees of old where it was win or bust?
I think that you're overselling a few things. the Yankees of old are never coming back. It just you told me that already. You told me that before when the fucking clip went viral where you said the Yankees aren't the
Yeah.
Yankees anymore. The Yankees can never be the early '90s Yankees for sure. They can't be that for sure.
Mhm.
But what the Yankees can do is still represent the brand. There's a reason why I told you not to shit on your fandom. It's just
No, I know.
nobody in Europe is wearing a Mets cap. They're all wearing Yankee caps. Like there's a reason why the brand means something no matter where you go. And we haven't won in such a long time that if we're gonna associate the Yankees with winning, where the fuck is the winning?
Yeah.
Because
So I'm going to tell you this, right? You mentioned the Yankee, but I do have a solution for you. So this is my idea, right? And this is directly to the Steinbrenners because I feel that they're the only ones that can make this decision. I feel that Derek Jeter is someone who has experience with the front office.
you're gonna call him the GM. I know where you're going with this.
No, no, no. Hold on a second. I feel that he is a winner and he knows what it takes to win. And I think that he commands. I mean, the dude, his retirement slogan was respect. Jeter as president of baseball operations, and then Alex Rodriguez as the on-field manager
Oh my
would be. Hold on a second, and I'm gonna give you the reasons on my idea. Derek owned the Marlins and was involved in the front office with the Marlins. He didn't do much winning, but this is different. You can see it in his face when they're broadcasting and the Yanks lose. There's a specific passion when it comes to being a Yankee for him. And to me, when you say Yankee, I picture him first, right? So he's going to bring a certain mentality to the ball club that has been missing for a long time. Now, when it comes to Alex Rodriguez, he's one of these guys. There's some rare players like Yadi Molina that you knew could be terrific managers. Why? Because they could take a player like Robinson Cano, like Melky Cabrera, and all these young and Gary Sanchez, and they'll gravitate to Alex. And Alex knows the game in and out. And every manager that has managed him and teammate said they could see him in that position. A-Rod would only manage if it was the right situation. And I think him and Jeter are really, really like reeling, and they have this thing inside that they like, yo, we got to turn this around, and this ain't the organization we played for. So that would be my idea.
I would love to hear what Jason had to say about this because you really you dug up some ground. I'm gonna have to put a little bit of dirt on it in a minute.
I mean, to me, that's just putting lipstick on a pig. I mean, I don't know how much it would help really, because at the end of the day, Brian Cashman is still the architect of all of this.
No, he would be gone in my theory. It would be Jeter's. So this is how it would look. Hal and the Steinbrenners would be the owner. Obviously, Derek would be president of baseball operations. Derek would hire a GM so he could have the pick of the litter of who he wants, and an assistant GM. And Alex would be the manager. Now, when you're the president of baseball operations, you make the decision of not just the Major League Ball Club, but the minor league philosophy for the organization. So that's, I'm not thinking of just like one thing that I harp is, when the Yankees of the 90s, you look at those guys that were developed by the Yankees. Yeah. And what's something, I mean, Aaron Judge is a generational talent. He was going to be judged no matter where he was. Mm-hmm. It just magnified that he's a Yankee, but they haven't been able to put a player that they developed on the field major league level wise. So that's why I'm saying now that I said my full theory and you see the scope, what is your response to that?
Something's got to give. Something's got to give because seriously, it hasn't worked out with Cashman. But I wouldn't see where it wouldn't hurt, but it would have to be on an extremely short leash.
Elaborate. What do you mean by that?
Well, they can't just keep on all right, so Cashman has been with this organization for a very, very long time, and it's time that they move on for him and they try something new. I don't think that it's such a bad idea bringing somebody that is passionate and as well synonymous with the organization as Derek Jeter would come to bring in, especially since he has some front office experience, despite the fact that it went to shit ultimately with the Marlins. But he has some skin in the game. It'll be definitely a lot of news fodder. But at the same time, if things go south quickly and it just turns out that he's not the right guy for it, I don't want them to keep him around for the next 20 years or so like they did with Brian Cashman just because that's the way they operate.
Well, I don't think it would be unless Jeter started off so hot like Cashman did with winning 4 championships within his first 10 years as a general manager. I don't think that's going to happen with Derek Jeter. And my thing is, will the Yankees do that? Will they actually say, like, we're good on Cashman, let's bring a different mindset here? I don't know if A-Rod could ever be a manager with the Yankees. I just think there's a lot of bridges that he burned. The first thing that would have to happen is probably Cashman would have to be gone, only because he technically sued Cashman and the Yankees when he was defending for PEDs, and people hold grudges for a long time.
My theory is, and it was A-Rod's gripe is with Randy Levine. Hal obviously is a fan of Alex, but Randy Levine and Cashman have a thing against A-Rod. In my theory, Cashman's not there in the building. It's Derek. So I want you guys to keep that in mind.
Only because Derek also has a history with A-Rod where they weren't eye to eye for a long time, and now there have to be co-workers at Fox Sports, and sometimes it seems kind of forced, but maybe they have grown up, maybe they have put that behind them. But if you're gonna ask Alex to be A-Rod's subordinate, that's another thing when it comes to egos and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be tough. But I don't know.
He moved positions. He moved positions for him.
He still commanded third base. That was still his base.
But here's the thing.
No. But wait, hold on. In terms of their relationship, I'm sorry, Jason. I feel Alex gives Derek his respect and his space. He was the one that broached Jeter after 3 years of like it being rough between them, and he's like, "Dude, what's going on? Can we get back to that?" And Derek is a guy that he holds on to grudges for life, but they were so tight that he has opened that window. And the only reason Jeter took the job at Fox is because Alex would be there. And it might seem a little forced, but I think that now as grown men with children, daughters, because Alex only has daughters, Derek only has daughters. They're different. They're in a different space in life, and the competitive spirit those two have won't go away. And I said this: if from day one Alex and Derek would have been on good terms, you would have seen 3 rings for A-Rod and an additional 2 for Derek. So Jeter would have 7, 8 rings if they would have privately met on their own.
Because it's easy to talk about the Yankees. Let's bring this back to the Mets.
No. I want you to give me. I want you to give me.
Because I know that Jeter would never take a job with the Mets. That's just how he is. He's a Yankee for life. If A-Rod were to say he was going to be the manager of the Mets, you would take him in that position?
Yes, I would, because of the simple fact that every single player that has played with him, and again, I'm going to repeat it, every single player and manager, like Lou Piniella, Joe Torre, just the way he dissects the game and preps for the game. And even now as an analyst, A-Rod is on point with everything he is saying. So he hasn't lost sense of the game, hasn't moved away from him. And I also feel he's able to, when A-Rod was on the Yankees, Cano was in, he was a star that was rising. And Robbie talks about, and Melky on his latest interview, A-Rod being that guy for them, and A-Rod being the one that protected them. Cano didn't do any rookie hazing on the Yankees because Alex and Derek were like, nah, Robbie's with us. He's going to sit in the back of the bus.
You're wrong about this. I know Robbie's history from. They made him wear a cheerleader Yankee suit, and I will show you the picture.
Yes, but what I'm telling you is, watch the interview that Robbie's done several interviews,
I know.
and he talks about
I've seen the interview for sure. I've seen it.
how Alex personally went out of his way to put him under his wing, and there was when Gary Sheffield talked about the Yankees, it was because there was a divide in the clubhouse. You were an Alex guy or you were a Derek guy, and it shouldn't have been like that. It should have been Derek's team. Which when A-Rod came to the Yankees, like, it's Derek's team. I'm playing third base.
And also, I think that, I never got the sense that Alex Rodriguez wanted to be a front office guy or anything like that. He always seemed like he was more fitted for coaching, whereas...
And he has mentioned it in the past.
Right.
Jason,
So, hold on, Mello. Shut up for a second. Hold on, Mello. Mello. Shut up. I just feel like it wouldn't be an ego or anything now, because if he doesn't want to worry about if he's working on a Jeter or whatever, I don't think that'll matter, because maybe he doesn't want to be in the front office. Maybe he just wants to be coaching, regardless if it's like a power trip or whatever. But I don't know. I don't hate the idea. I'm not absolutely in love with it, but I didn't think it's worth a shot. And after all of those years with Brian Cashman, I'll try anything else at this point.
And I just want to point out another thing, right? Watch Fox Sports. And it seems, like I said, when the Yankees lose, everybody tunes in to see what David Ortiz is going to do and what Alex and Jeter's response is. And they are in sync with their same exact thoughts. You mentioned Aaron Boone, right? Do you know Aaron Boone makes a lineup, and the lineup is changed essentially before the game starts and during the game? So
they run it by the analytical team, and that's
it's not like Torrey or Girardi where they had full say on who's playing and who's not. And I think that's wrong. Like, you could talk about the Mets, but Mendy is the guy that's calling the shots. Like, Mendy gets the information, and if you're the manager of a baseball team, and as much as I dislike Alex Cora, you should be in a position like Alex Cora where you're the one that makes every single decision, and because at the end of the day, if it doesn't work out, you're the one that's going to get blamed.
You can do whatever topic you want after this, but I think that we all can agree that in baseball and sports, right, there's a such thing as hot. Who's hot right now? Who is seeing the ball and hitting the ball? Who is pitching in the strike zone? Who is throwing dimes? There's a thing that's not analytical. That is just a feel for the game. So if you're not working, right, if you're not working that way, what you're doing is you're saying that like numbers overvalue like instinct. And no matter what in life, like, how you say like, oh, I don't know about them in life. That's the same way it should be in sports. Like, I don't know, we shouldn't pitch them tomorrow. Let's go a different route. And when you do the analytical thing, it's like just numbers. And like life is not black and white. Life is gray. We have to live in the gray, right?
Yeah.
Like
I don't want to sound like that old guy that says get off my lawn, but baseball is named the pastime for a reason, because it's a game that is done with instinct, with heart, with gut, and that's why there's a lot of old timers and even newer generations that still love the game for the purity of it. Where analytics is just, I've always said this before in baseball, I think that analytics should be used as a tool, not as a religion, and that's the message that I have for Brian Cashman.
And I feel there's two things analytics does not account for. And that is the mental. Guy could be going through a divorce, could be having a rough day, could be drunk like David Wells on the mound. That's not accounted for in those numbers. And then again, what Melo said, who is in his zone. The zone thing is what you got. Like, you could look at the numbers. A guy could be, there's something called being due for something, right? In baseball, you're always due for something. If you bring in let's say you bring in Mariano Rivera, right? And you bring him in to face, I forgot who's the guy that Mariano owned. Eventually that guy's going to get a hit. If that guy's doing good and he's if that guy prepared a different way that day, he could get a hit off Mo. So it doesn't account for the feeling of the game. And that's why I'm so against the like having an electronic umpire for balls and strikes. I do like the idea of being able to question it, which they're going to put in the next season. But the human element of the game is something analytics will never measure. And that's in any sport. So if you're a head coach, if you're a manager, if you're the guy that is designed to run the day-to-day operation of the sport, you should have full anonymity of it, right? In the Yankee situation, it is very unique because the Steinbrenners are not baseball people, and they have, because Brian Cashman grew up in that organization. He was in a really low level position. He's been there for years, so he knows the family very well. He's part of that family, so they've given him so much leeway that if it comes to baseball terms, we refer to Brian. And Brian's the one that goes to war on these arbitrations. He's the one that feels like what you did in the past for us doesn't matter. You're Derek Jeter. I'm not going to pay you what you're looking for. I'm going to pay you this amount of money. He's the one that takes that stance. And
your Mets are doing the same thing with Pete Alonso, though. They're saying we're not going to pay you for past performance. We're going to pay you for fair market value right now. And I still think that's a big deal because I think that you guys are showing like you guys want to be winners. Juan Soto, he had a career year this year. He is not enough. He's not enough.
So he's not. And Pete and I've said this. There's two things that are two problems with the Mets. A, we don't have homegrown developed talent that when they're good we keep. And B, David Stern runs the organization as if he's in Milwaukee. Guess what, dude? Soto, it wasn't Stern that signed Soto. It was Cohen himself. Cohen himself. So you nickel and diamond, and Pete, you nickel and diamond, which I believe the deal gets done. I think Pete gets $200 million. I think he gets 6 years with a 7th option, and I think he stays a Met.
You sure about that?
I think Pete stays a Met, man. I think he does. He has all the leverage. He has all the leverage.
You guys are cooked if he goes to Milwaukee somewhere else like that.
He has all the leverage, and I feel like one thing that I do admire about Steve Cohen is he's trying to develop a culture within the franchise where we take care of our own, we keep our own, right? I know Stearns was the guy that was in his ear, like, Pete had a bad year, and he had a bad year the year before that. So, like, he was like, he's not worth a multi-year deal. And Pete didn't do himself a service by turning down the original multi-year deal that they had offered him.
All right,
but I feel like
he's been in the league 6 years, right? And he's banged 30 homers every year and broke the single season rookie records for homers.
Mm-hmm.
Sit on him.
I don't.
We're good on you.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you, Melo.
Your GM is definitely shitting the bed when it comes to Pete, for sure.
Yeah, and with our starting pitching. And if the starting pitching is not to par and the plan was to bring up these kids, why'd you bring them up so late? So I put all the blame on A, the coaching and managing, and B, the general manager. So that's just my take on the Mets.
I just realized he put his name down as Mets are trash.
Mets are trash. I want to thank Melo for giving us some time here on the show. I truly appreciate it, brother. It won't be the first or last that we ask you to come on.
Let me hop back on real quick. Hold on. I just had to run over here real quick. You guys are great. I love joining the pod. I mean, congratulations on being like the best of the best, representing the best you guys can. As a Puerto Rican, I'm a little envious because you guys are not Puerto Rican. But Rick, cheers to you, buddy. And yeah.
Hey, well, at least
I wish we could have had him do a little bit more this year, but it's okay.
But that, I think he's done that man in the playoffs is something to watch.
And and if it's any consolation, at least your heritage will be represented in the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
He's making it back to the Super Bowl with the Chiefs.
And Isaiah Pacheco from Jersey.
Yeah, for sure. All right, bros. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I love you. I love the pod.
Thank you, Melo.
At least a couple of minutes just to say some shit about sports teams. When it's all said and done, sports doesn't matter. Life does, and I hope everyone is good.
Thank you, Melo. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Love you guys.
That was Melo. I just his perspective on things and the way he views. I've always enjoyed my conversations with him.
Yeah.
So, but it was. I'm trying to remember. There was a point where you were making a point on something, and we were going to go back to it. Was it the Yankee thing? Was it the AFC NFC thing? No, I think you said your clear cut choices.
Yeah, I already did the AFC, NFC.
Besides the Jets, what was your biggest disappointment in this season so far?
Who besides the Jets? I mean, that's not setting the bar pretty high right there with the Jets. I would have to say the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, I understand that there's been injuries and stuff like that, but I think that I didn't. What are they? 1-5 right now?
Hold on. I had the standings up for a second. Baltimore's 1-5.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of that is because Lamar's not playing, but
yeah, they do not look the same without Lamar.
No, that they did what the Jets should do when they get a quarterback. They should develop an entire team around them to his strengths. And but that's the problem right now with the Ravens, that without Lamar, they're basically kind of dead in the water. And I also like, and let me say this too, I actually like how Detroit, they lost Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, two great coordinators for them last year. And then and the Lions, even though they lost to the Chiefs, they look like they haven't lost much of a step either. I don't know if they're going to be in the championship game, but I think that Dan Campbell has solidified himself as one of the best head coaches in the game. He has balls, he has heart, and I think that Detroit's going to be a force to be reckoned with for quite some time now.
What do you think of Campbell's comments about his player that was it Branch?
It was Branch, yeah.
Yeah, what you think about Campbell's way he handled that with the media right afterwards?
I think he handled it the best that he could. Like, he didn't want to throw him too much under the bus, but also at the same time have his back. Even though it was Bush League what Branch did.
I couldn't agree with you more. So I want to finish off the show with a little thing called Best Story in Sports this week, from the past week. What did you feel deserved the headlines this past week in sports?
I think maybe the Monty, stop. I think maybe the fact that I don't know if a lot of people that are watching listen to this right now, that the WNBA championship has just finished, and we have a new championship in WNBA.
Aces 3-time champs.
Aces 3-time champs, and it's not necessarily getting the love and the recognition that it deserves. I think that that should have had a little bit more recognition, but it's a good story. It just unfortunately hasn't blossomed because of politics.
Wilson also made a record for the WNBA. She's the first woman to Finals MVP in the season, and there's 4. Forgive me for not having it up because we are also at fault for that. We didn't talk about it, but Aja Wilson did something that similar to Michael Jordan, where he won. She's Defensive Player of the Year, so MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and Finals MVP in the season, and that's very difficult to do.
Yeah, so kudos to her and congratulations to the Aces.
My biggest story in sports, it would have to be the Toronto Blue Jays, and it's no knock on the Yankees.
No, I get it.
Doing what they did, how they did it, and bringing in very exciting ALCS coming up. But just the fact that Vladdy Jr., he carries a certain chip on his shoulder when he plays the Yanks. And I believe Seattle's tough, but I think it might be a Toronto. I would hope for a Toronto Milwaukee, but it looks like Toronto Dodgers series in the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nice for Vladdy to think about the year he's had. Contracts in the offseason. He cut off negotiations at one point.
Yeah.
Then there was huge whispers of he already wanting to line up with Soto in New York because of the way Pete's contract was structured. Then Toronto, before the All-Star break, I think in June, finally pays the man and does what every organization should do. You should identify who's the face of your franchise and what they've done for you and just pull your full force behind them. And I think Vladdy Jr. has taken that role in Toronto for the Blue Jays. And I love anytime someone can make Michael Kay shut up because he really for June, July, August, September, he really said Toronto is not a first place team. They're frauds, they're pretenders. They'll eventually. He thought the Yankees would get in as division winners, and Toronto held up their end of the bargain, and then they also outed them. So I think Vladdy Jr. is the biggest story for me of the past week in sports.
Your disdain for Michael Kay is the disdain that I have for Craig Carton. It's very funny.
I mean, the thing is that you're supposed to be. I get you work for the organization. I get you grew up in the Bronx, and I get you're a fan, but you can't. Sometimes you got to give the point where you can't give excuses like, this guy was hurt. This guy didn't play. We were in the World Series last year.
Yeah.
And if you hear him on the radio with some of the fans,
I hear him. Yeah, I listen to him every week. Every day. And this is one of the things that I do have a problem with Michael Kay. And I haven't had a chance to tell him this, but I probably will if I ever get a call through. When he's ripping the Knicks or the Jets or the Rangers or the Mets, it seems like it's done with a lot of vitriol, and he does make some great valiant points. But when it comes to ripping, quote unquote, the Yankees, he has to back it up with some kind of defense, and it just seems like, all right, you're just trying to soften the blow and this, that, and the third, and everything. You don't have that same energy towards the Yankees that you do for the other teams, and that's why it feels biased.
That's my knock on him, and that's does he call the games great? And yes, he has a great voice and all that, but for the last, I would say, 8 years, it's just, and as someone that has called and spoken to Kay on the show, Michael Kay proposed to his wife in cargo shorts. So did I. And I actually called the show. I wish I still had the clip. It's just, if you're going to go scorched earth on all the other teams, you should also do it with the Yankees. And the Yankees need to understand that your job is a broadcaster. And that's my issue. The organization loves to control the narrative, and it's very similar to what the Knicks do, and that never sits well with me. If going on, he defended Anthony Volpe,
that was.
I mean, Anthony Volpe led the playoffs in strikeouts.
Yeah,
and my knock on him is you're not the home run power is there, but you should be an on-base guy, gap to gap, base hit guy. You should be hitting 310, 300, and you should be stealing bases. And then the power comes when it comes.
Correct.
So that's been my knock on Volpe. And with baseball, if you're hitting good, your defense will be good. I think the kid, when he's on a good stride, he'll be good defensively. And you saw it this year. He was awful, so his defense suffered. So it's all up here.
Yep.
Well, that's all the time I have for today.
Yeah, that's all the time we have for today. But before we go, I just want to give a quick shout out and prayers to Nick Mangold, who actually just put it out there today that he is in need of a kidney. He has
Oh man.
Yeah, he got he put out an op-ed out there, and basically in a nutshell, he said that he was diagnosed with a kidney disease in 2006 that is not having an effect on him until now. So now he is asking for donations and also for somebody for a match, because nobody in his family unfortunately is a match. So, you know, he's in dire needs right now. And I love Nick Mangold. And I think that even if you're not a Jet fan, you have to appreciate what he has done for the game.
I'm not a Jet fan, and I respect Nick Mangold. Jets legend should be. I don't know if they retired his number or they put him in the Hall of Fame for the day. So definitely a great representation for the organization. Outstanding lineman, outstanding center. So that's terrible. Prayers up for Nick Mangold. Yeah. So I want to end this by the way we started it. Congratulations on the award, Jason.
Yeah, congratulations to you too.
I'll see you guys next week on Monday, same time, same channel.
Los nominados por el premio Latin Podcast República Dominicana Quisqueya la Bella son Un libro para vivir, Estímate. Los nominados por el premio Latin Podcast República Dominicana Quisqueya la Bella son Un libro para vivir, Estímate, Campamento Los Detectives y 2 AM Crew. El premio Latin Podcast República Dominicana va para The 2 AM Crew.
Gracias a los Latin Podcast Awards por